inevitable.
What's up, people? What is going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Secret Invasion Roundtable. We got the usual suspects in the house. We got Mr. Danny Graham. Shout out your channel, sir.
It's me, Comment Chat, aka Danny Graham, aka Comment Chat. You can find me Monday night, tomorrow night. Hopefully, if something don't mysteriously pop up at the last minute, and we'll be rocking and rolling with my show, which is Cat Conversation.
I promise I won't ruin it for everybody else.
I didn't say nothing about you, so it must be a guilty conscience.
Wow, that's guilty, boy.
Did I say anything about Chris Knight, Alonzo?
Not that I know of.
Something pops up. I didn't say anybody call anybody names.
Could have been a headache from me or something like that. You know what I mean?
Could have been work for me, but somebody pops up. Anyway, tomorrow I did what you call an encouragement series. I did mine my video today. Tomorrow's word is problem solver. I think I did a pretty good job on that one. But check it out. It'll be released tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do a word day, a quarter of the day, and also a scripture of the day. So check that out if you're not doing anything. And then later on tonight, you can catch me on Storm's Live.
Yes, sir. Chris Knight.
Yeah, Chris Knight, Real Review 3000, Chaos Central, of course. Tonight, I'll be over on Deej's channel doing game night. He's running it tonight. And then tomorrow night, like Danny said, we'll be on over on right here on Chaos Central doing one of the mini shows we all do here. Looking forward to it. I know I need to get back into a regular repeating schedule, and I'll take full blame for that for the last week because I had something come up. That was my fault. But hey, and Danny, your encouragement series, that is great stuff, man. Really great stuff. I love that. Absolutely. All right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about tonight.
And there's only one way you can get back to a normal schedule, but we know that ain't gonna happen. So, low key, shout out to your channel.
We're developing a new show too, Chris. You know what it's called? Me and Alonzo is developing a new show. We talked about it last night. You know what it's called?
What was it?
Where are your testicles?
That's only what it was. It
Our first guest is going to be none other than you.
Facts.
Sure.
Low key, shout out your channel, brother.
Shout out to everybody on the round table. Low key cave. We'll be probably doing From tonight after I get done jumping on here with y'all as far as the season finale finally. So that's what I got coming up next. Once again, shout out to everybody on the round table. Make sure y'all go check out their channels.
Season finale of what tonight?
From.
Oh,
it's a show. Yeah.
I didn't know.
It's really good.
Never heard of it.
It's a horror, right? I was watching it. I was waiting for the season. I gotta catch up. Thank you.
That's why I ain't watching, because I don't watch horror. Good. Thank you.
Exactly.
Nah, you gotta get on that.
Yeah, it's really good. JG.
Yo, salute chat, salute panel. How's everybody doing today? You can catch me Wednesday nights on the OOC with the great Onzo, the great Roberto, and the amazing, outstanding, stupendous, always man of the hour, Danny. You can also catch me with Super Wise talking our geek stuff, doing what we do. And yo, Daddy, yeah, that stuff is really inspirational, especially helped me a lot through these times. So I appreciate what you're doing.
I appreciate it.
Warren G. Go ahead, brother.
Hey, you can find me on Twitter. I'm too lazy to do a channel, so let's be honest about that. But I say the truth most of the time and start arguments because see, and I spit facts, so that's all I gotta say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and
And
you got that comedic streak in you too, boy.
yeah, he's funny, right? And we have the second half of the Spoiler Kings in the house. Tank, what's up, brother? Shout out
Hey.
Chicano.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on here. Usually Brian has been on here. So, yeah, like Anzo said, I'm 1/3 of the Spoiler Kings. Yeah, and we're live every Monday and Thursday. We do movie reviews, TV shows, kind of movie news. We've been getting more into the movie news kind of stuff. And yeah, so we have fun. We hang out with Chad and just kind of really like hang out. So it's always a fun time on Monday and Thursdays.
Absolutely. And Danny, if you have
Also,
a bone to pick,
that's
yeah, now's your chance. Yeah, now's your chance, Danny. Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith is not better than Empire Strikes Back. Oh,
yeah, that's him, Danny.
Oh wow!
Let me use my force powers to see if I can squeeze his head.
Thank you guys for coming. Dandelion's in the house. Basil's in the house. Anik Jones is in the house. Thank you guys for popping up. Much appreciated. And you know how we do it. We're going to get into our overalls, our likes, our dislikes, and grades and predictions. So, Danny, we'll start with you. What is your overall on this episode?
I liked it. To me, it was not as good as last episode, but they're cliffhangers, man. The way they end these shows is like, woof. So they get an A+ for that. The way they end their episodes, I'm like, man, it makes you ready to see the next episode. So whoever is capitalizing on that format, good job, man. Keep it up. And that bad guy, man, I can't keep track of their names, but I know Gallic, I think that's his name.
Garrick.
Gravik.
Yeah.
Boy, it's fire, man. I knew he was gonna be good because he's the guy that played Malcolm X in
Shout out Bob Marley.
So I knew.
Yeah, he's playing Bob Marley too. I forget about that.
Yeah.
So I know he's gonna be fire.
Yeah, did you see the trailer, Danny, for Bob Marley? Because it's him, man.
He's a little light skinned for Bob Marley, ain't he?
Bob
Nah,
was kind of.
he fits it.
Okay, you'll see.
Yeah.
I'll definitely check it out because he's on my radar now for good actors.
Absolutely.
You need to get a darker tan. He might play T'Challa. So hey, just saying.
Yeah, it's a lot of tanning. I know that.
But man, I like it. Overall, the show is good to me. Like I said, and I'm sticking with it from what I'm seeing so far. It is the best show that Disney Plus has produced so far, in my opinion, from the MCU world. So I hope it keep going.
Absolutely.
3 down, 3 more to go.
Absolutely. Perp Minded, what up? Thanks for popping in. Mr. Knight?
I'll just say twists and turns. There was some good little twists in there. I think they put in some good things that it had me thinking about where this show's going and what it's trying to show us. Because, again, they're showing us a lot of things directly, and I think there's a lot of thought that's there, that's shown, things we have to think about. At least I hope. The problem is that it may not be like that, but we'll talk about that.
All right. Low-key, what are your initial thoughts of the episode?
I enjoyed it. I like the fact that they keep going like certain twists each episode, especially towards the end, and even dealing with a certain character that I did not expect to go out that quick. Being that we in the third episode, and I was like, oh, okay. So that's why I like the villain too, as far as Gravik. Like, he ain't playing around. Like, you got them crossing one time, that's it. Like,
absolutely. JG.
I think episode 2 is probably the best of the season so far, but this was really good. I enjoyed it.
I agree.
This show probably has the best so far one-on-one dialogues I've seen in any MCU show so far. Overall, it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
All right, Warren.
Well, I gotta say, all I gotta say is that I mentioned Super-Skrulls. And I just want to say, clip it from the first video. I made sure I mentioned that, and it's half true. Okay. But about the episode, I think it's good. To me, when I watch this show, I'm getting more of a better version of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's what I get. That this is what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. could have been if it was done properly.
Watch your mouth.
Okay, I will say that. But I liked episode 2 as well better. And the cliffhangers, like Danny said, I like as well. So this show is a slow burner. I like it's a sci-fi spy thriller. And that's kind of cool to me. So that's all I gotta say.
And Tank.
Yeah, I like this one. You guys comparing it to the second one, and I'm sitting and thinking, I'm like, it's right up there, but that roadie speech, that roadie conversation kind of put that one right above it. But the way this one started with him and his wife was interesting, but it wasn't as good as that. But this episode was really good. I enjoyed it. Like Common Chat said, like it has those endings are great. Those are super great because they really get you like hooked. So you like, I want to watch the next one. I want to know what's going on. But yeah, Gravik, he's got to be one of the best villains, and I'm kind of upset that they're kind of using him for a TV show instead of a movie. I really, they might bring him to a movie. I don't know. I mean, he's definitely got the caliber for acting.
I hope so
because they kill all the villains in the MCU. Right?
They kill all the villains, so I'm scared for Gravik.
Yeah. All the good ones, Danny. They kill all the good ones.
The
bad ones they keep around, but the good villains they always kill them off. So I'm
bad villain they kept around.
Oh, what's the guy that was in
Age of High Evolutionary still alive? What are you talking about?
Dude, the
wait, hold on. High Evolutionary was a good villain. What are you talking about?
He's still alive.
He said he's still alive.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, but Baron Zemo, he's still alive.
He's still alive.
Can't really think of it now, but it'll come back to me. But go ahead, Tank. Finish up.
Yeah. No, I like this. I like the whole show so far. I know a lot of people are hating on it, but it's good. But a lot of people are like, "Oh, there's not enough action." I'm like, it's a show about Nick Fury. Nick Fury isn't out there like Hulk smash. He's a spy, so he's gonna do like the spy thriller and spy things. Yeah, so he's gonna like outsmart people. And I think we'll get into it later, but I think he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. Yeah,
absolutely.
So, yeah,
Nick Fury, not John Wick.
Exactly.
Yeah. So my overall thoughts, again, I think the episode is great. I'm gonna say like you guys, I think this is the one Marvel show that actually feels like a series. All the other ones didn't really have this series feel to it. Some of them had the action in the beginning and then the end, it just ended like that. And I found it really weird the way they were structured. But this one, almost every episode, you get some kind of cliffhanger or something like that. It feels like a series that makes you want to, okay, let me go for the next episode, So I think it was really good. And like you said, it's not this action pack. It's a spy thriller. It's really good. I do have one big fucking problem with this episode, though. Like one thing that we're gonna get into when we get into the bad stuff. But I
like the conversations between Talos and Nick Fury too. I like their moments too.
Yes.
I do.
You see?
Yeah, they got good chemistry.
That's my problem with it. But we're gonna get into that first.
What?
Yeah. We're gonna.
I know what he's talking about.
Yeah, because I told Danny already.
Conversation earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll get into that in the bad, but we'll go to the good and we'll go around the
Shout
other way.
out to Tamika's then.
What up? How you doing, Tamika? Tank, tell us what you liked in this episode. All your likes.
Well, like Low-Key Cave said, that part in the car where Talos is just putting it all out there on Nick Fury.
Yeah.
And I just like how Nick Fury just sat there and was like, okay, I'll let you have your moment and let it all out. And then at the end, he just kind of like, listen, man, you need to watch who you're talking to. So I kind of like that, but like it puts it on perspective. It was like, it wasn't just Nick Fury, he was a great spy because he had all these Skrulls, and now kind of you go back and looking like, oh, he was the guy because he had these inside guys. So that was kind of interesting. And I thought that was a good like conversation between them two, but it was definitely like one-sided until the very end. And at the very end, Nick Fury's like, shut up. Like, I feel like he wanted to say a Sam Jackson kind of line, but like Disney's like, no, not in this one. But
see, I'm seriously biting my tongue. I want to save it for the bad because I know that's where the conversation is gonna be. But right now, go ahead, Tank. Go ahead.
Yeah, but yeah, the wife thing was really interesting. Like if anybody in a long-term relationship, married, stuff like that, like, because she explains it, she goes, I mourned you when you got dusted. He goes, that wasn't your fault, but you come back and then you're gone again for what, like 5-8 years or whatever it was. And then that's when it went from like sadness to anger. and she's kind of like the wild card. I'm not quite sure what she's gonna do, and she's interesting. But the what's her name? Gia, the Talos' daughter.
Yeah.
In it, she was pretty good. I liked it, but yeah, Gravik though, he just keeps one upping, his badassness of stuff like that. So, yeah, yeah. And it's gonna come out who's more of a super spy kind of person, Gravik or Nick Fury, and I think that's what's gonna come down to, like who knows how to stay hidden and know everything, kind of thing.
Well, with the way they were talking, it's probably gonna be fucking Gravik. But Warren, go ahead.
What I liked about the episode was more of because a lot was like, how are they gonna fight? In the second episode, like how are you gonna fight the Avengers? But I mean, if you got the blood of like Cole Obsidian from the Black Order, I think you could fight an Avenger. So that's sort of solved that for me. I like how the Gravik he's learned so much from Nick Fury that he's being the Skrull version for the Skrulls. He's their Nick Fury. Like he did the sub thing to find out who was to find out about Gaia. So you could tell that he learned a lot from Fury. That's another thing I liked. I liked the flashbacks, especially the Dracoff one, because that's referring back to Black Widow during the whole Red Room thing, to find out about that. I like that little Easter egg that they threw in there. And I do like the dialogue that's between the husband and wife sort of thing. So yeah, that's pretty much what I liked throughout the episode.
All right, JG.
There are multiple things. I know I mentioned earlier the one-on-one dialogues, Gravik and Talos. That whole thing, I loved it. I kind of like the unraveling, so to speak, of Talos when Gravik mentions his daughter. He just almost snaps, but he kind of keeps control at the same time. I love that. Let's see what else. This is so much. Just Gravik in general, like we said, he's like probably the best villain we've seen because we don't know what he knows so far, but you can kind of tell that he kind of knew Gaia was up to something for episode 1. That's by the looks, the subtle looks he gives her, especially when she's like, she comes out, the plan, we messed up the plan, or whatever. Like, no, we didn't. So he basically like, I know you were in cahoots with Talos. So it's just so much. This dialogue is really good. The part where Fury and Talos are trying to get the codes from the guy, you kind of both seeing them argue with each other. I love that whole scene because like they're both kind of becoming unraveled. Like, okay, what are we gonna do? Hey, can't you shapeshift to this guy? Well, I need the codes. I got caught. It is just so much, dude. I can't really just pinpoint one thing.
Yeah, I feel you 100%. And I got to remember those because those are going to bring back some of the bad. But low key, what about you?
One of the moments that definitely stood out to me was Gravik and Talos' conversation when he was basically telling him, like, if I want my history to be made, I want it to be in blood. Like, basically telling him, like, I want the smoke, basically. I want the smoke. And Nick Fury and the wife, for one, not knowing that she was a Skrull. So, yeah, that was an off-gate surprise anyway. And even at that ending with her not really knowing if she's working with Gravik or if she's trying to set him up the same way Gaia is trying to do, was trying to do. So that was a lot of the good moments for me.
All right. Chris Knight?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the conversation between Talos and Gravik was really, really good. And I think what we saw in this whole episode was I think Talos is starting to take control and say, if I got to be dirty, I got to be dirty. And what I mean by that is he's starting to realize maybe Nick Fury was right. Maybe I can't be soft about this. Because think about it. In the second episode, I think it was the first episode, we saw him try to keep Fury from killing that one Skrull. And then in this one, he literally takes the gun and just shoots the guy. And Fury looks at him like, "Whoa, what were you doing? What are you doing? How do we do this now?" You know, and I think that really shows us. It has me wondering some things. I'll talk about that in the end. But he really heavily relied on his daughter. Let's see what happens with that. But I do think what he's showing is that he's willing to make sacrifices. I think maybe what we hear is that he's going to keep his promise that he gave to Fury, and he's going to look at Fury at some point here really soon and say, "Listen, I'm keeping my promise, and I'm doing what I can to keep this from happening. But you're going to have to do something too." So there was a lot of development between Talos and Gravik, and I think that was very, very well done in this episode.
I agree, Danny.
I'm agreeing with what a lot of people said, and kind of referring to the conversation you and I had. I didn't have a problem at all with Abort telling Nick Fury. I thought it was the truth, and I'll give you two examples. There's a Star Trek episode where Captain Kirk goes to this mirror universe. And in this mirror universe, he's rise to the ranks because he got this machine there. Whenever it looks at you, you press the button, it instantly kills you. So he was kind of cheating in a way. Nobody else knew about it, but he knew about it, and that's how he was getting his objective. People thought he was so good, but he was actually had a little inside cheat. Also, part two, the ancient one in Doctor Strange. She was using Dormammu's power to stay young and healthy, that kind of stuff. So she was kind of cheating. So the good guys sometimes use little tactics that may not necessarily be on the up and up, but they do good things with it. That's the same thing Nick Fury did. Nick Fury would not have rise through the ranks, in my belief, if he didn't have that little inside cheat code, which were the Skrulls helping him. So him pointing it out. Sometimes the good guys, they can't be above reproach either. Sometimes somebody gotta take them down a peg or two. So he took him down a peg or two, and I thought he did it in a respectful one-on-one. Okay, so we didn't help you, MF. We did ABC 1, 2, 3, and Nick Fury couldn't say nothing because at that time, the guy was telling the truth. So I really like that part. The chemistry between those two is on point. It's fire. The way his wife broke it down to him about she lost him twice. Now I think she's fighting her love for him and her loyalty to Gravik. So I don't know which one's going to win. That's another little thing they got dangling out for us to see whether or not they're making the show more interesting and the plot more interesting. People complain about these shows are lazy written and well written. Well, they can't say that no more because this show is not lazy. It's well written. So that excuse what people use in the past, they need to be quiet because this right here showed me that Marvel had it in them the whole time. They just, for whatever reason, was doing stuff, I guess, to try to please the fans. But you can't please us because damn if you do, damn if you don't. Somebody gonna love it, like most of the panel here loves it. There'll be a certain section of people that don't love it. But for me, the writing is on point. I love it. So kudos to whoever's writing the story, man. Y'all did an excellent job.
Absolutely, 100%. And I agree with all of you. Like everything that you guys said you like, I like too. I love that Gravik and Talos dinner. You know what I mean? And he calls out his wife, and Talos gets up, stabs his hand, and the way he had his neck, like he was just gonna choke him, and nobody because when he first stood up, everybody turned back like into a Skrull and stood up. The second time, they didn't even mess around. They just stood there, right? And they let him pretty much choke the dude out. But we find out that Gravik already has that power from Iron Man 3.
Extremis.
Right?
Yeah.
The Extremis powers already. So they're already working on, adding these powers to the Skrull, which I believe that Talos' daughter is not dead. I think she probably has some of that power too somewhere, right? So I don't think she's dead because I don't know, killing two people off in this series kind of like, you know what I mean? Like I don't see them doing that, but one thing I said from episode 1 is that it brought stakes, right? Because no one expected her to get shot again. And Gravik is just a bad man. You know what I mean? He is just, I love him because, he doesn't seem like he loses his cool or anything. He's just sitting there calm. He knows what the plan is. You know what I mean? He may get angry, but it's not like to the point where it's like, Oh my God, like for example, the High Evolutionary, everybody complains about him yelling and doing all kinds of stuff. So it's not like that, right? So I think he is definitely one of the greatest characters. But now we're going to get into the dislikes, and I am going to start because I got it on my mind now. So everybody was talking about, you all said the conversation was great, and the conversation between Nick Fury and Talos was great. But what they fucking did was take every single accomplishment that Nick Fury had and said it was because of the Skrulls. Nick Fury's supposed to be, he's supposed to be this super spy and do all this stuff, and now everything was because of fucking Talos. Everything. He broke it down. Every time you got a promotion, it was because of us. Every time it was this, it was because of us. I'm just like, oh my God. So now, hold on, Annie, just one more thing. Now, when you go back into the beginning of this episode and people are saying that it feels like Nick Fury has lost a step, it's because fucking Talos was feeding him everything. So of course he lost a step because he never had it in the first place. Go ahead, Danny.
I think that.
But the blip, Nick Fury wasn't a blip on nobody's radar until he discovered Captain Marvel.
Yeah, but I'm saying. No,
yeah,
I know, but
that's when it started off. So just because he got his break, Nick Fury got his break, and he capitalized on it. So you still, even though he got that information, you still can't take away the knowledge that he acquired while he was doing it.
Absolutely, because he never did none of it on his own, right? At least if he had did the stuff on his own, maybe Talos and them were helping him, but nothing he did was on his own. Like everything, he got promotions because they solved the mystery. They did this. Every time we did something, you did that. We did that for you. Right?
So did they help him find the Avengers?
That's just like a coach in a football team.
Nah, it's like he's a puppet. Yeah.
I think that's
100%. Go ahead.
I think that's what we're going to see, though, is that it's going to be more like he was the playmaker, or he was the guy calling the plays. And yes, it made it easier with them, but he's the one with the expertise because we've seen them do it before without them. Unless we go back, unless they show something in this where everything he's done, they show how it had to do with them. Because as soon as they got done with that conversation, they go inside, and he's like, "What? Did you forget about what's actually going on here?" And it's like he then kind of corrects him and says, "Listen, you forgot about this," and then he saves the guy.
Yes, but Nick Fury also says, "Oh, why don't you just switch over to him and use his voice?" And the guy's like, "Oh, you think I didn't think about that? I don't know the code." You know what I mean? So it seems like just Nick Fury is like incompetent. You know what I mean? And that's not what Nick Fury is supposed to do.
I'll say rusty, if anything. Rusty, then incompetent. Well, because like the first thing I thought about was like, I don't know if anybody saw like Game of Thrones, not the new one, the old one. And you had Littlefinger, because Littlefinger was the badass, even though he got all the info from all these different places. And that's what I kind of think of when I think of like a big spy kind of person like Nick Fury. It was like, cool, you gave me all the info, this person, that person, but I took it and I made something out of it. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's like, you know, like, yeah, he got the info and he got the help, but he made the plan. He figured it out. Like, he was the guy that did all the stuff, you know, and that's how I kind of saw it, you know, where
was it for his agenda or the Skrulls' agenda?
What's that?
Was it for Nick Fury's agenda as far as who he was trying to help, or was it for the Skrulls' agenda? Because I think ain't that the whole thing with them being upset? Well, Gravik anyway. Like, he was doing all of this for his agenda, not the Skrulls. They went like...
Gravik, part of the thing is that you promised you're going to get us a home. It's been X amount of years, and we're still here on this planet. So now, since you lied to us, we're going to go ahead and take your planet. That's what I think his big argument is. I think if Nick Fury maybe, let's just say, hypothetically, say, look, you got planet ABC 1, 2, 3. And Gravik go there and he's happy with it, he might leave. I don't know. I don't know whether or not he's got so power hungry. He's like, nah, I'm going to take what you got. So we don't know whether or not he can be appeased yet.
Right. And here's another thing, right? So like I was saying, because Nick Fury discovered Skrulls since Captain Marvel, right? Which is pretty much one of the first MCU movies when in timeline or whatever, right? So does that mean when he met when he had all the files on the Avengers, was it the Skrulls that did that? Was it the Skrulls that got him all that information?
No,
right? It seems like he did nothing on his own. He didn't even pick the name for the Avengers because it was fucking Carol Danvers.
I think he had he had a Defenders was the name of it, and then he changed it.
No, it was
No,
Avengers. On the
she was
plane was the
Avenger.
Avenger.
No.
Yeah.
I'm talking about when
It
he
was-
was typing it. At first, he was typing. It had the Avengers something. Then he changed it to Avengers.
Maybe,
He
but I know
looked
it's
at
because
he looked at the plane and changed
Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
yeah, and then he said Avengers, right?
yeah. Like he named
So-
it after her and stuff like that. But I don't mind like you get like him getting info from other places because like it's kind of like a boss of a company. Like yeah, you got the people doing the work, but you're the one with the big plan. You know what I mean? Like the person doing the work doesn't see the big picture. Like Nick Fury saw the big picture. He's like, yeah, you giving me that info and you're giving me that info, but I see all the info and I'm putting it all together and I'm making my plan. You know what I mean? So it's like that's how I took it as, you know, was
and
like,
I completely understand what you guys are saying, right? If there's little things where they helped him out, fine. But the way Talos was speaking to him, it was like, if it wasn't for you, you would be nowhere without us. And that I don't like because that's not supposed to be Nick Fury's character. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Donnie's on the phone, but Chris, what are your dislikes?
Oh, again, it's not so much a dislike as much as it's all the things going on at one time. Killing off or possibly killing off his daughter, Talos' daughter. It's like, I don't know. Right now, I don't have any investment in believing in that.
She's dead? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just so. I mean, I guess at the end of it, then it hits us if she is dead, if what's her name is dead, if these people are actually dead, great. I just don't buy into they're going to do that because here's the thing: of all these Disney shows, how many times do we actually see somebody die? And now we've seen it twice at least in this, and so it's like. Yeah, I just don't know. And so that bothers me that they're trying to sell us on this, yet I'm just not yet buying in on it. So they're obviously leaving it open to, oh, look, surprise, she's alive. And, well, I'm not going to be surprised if she is. Let's see here. What else? See, I don't get the same thing you got from that conversation. I get that okay. You get two people in a room that have done a lot of things together. And anytime a conversation like that starts, it becomes like, this wouldn't have happened without me. Or it almost comes into a competition. And you got to be careful about that. Because even though Talos might be right that they did a lot of that stuff, it's only seeing it from one side of it. And if Fury says, no, you don't understand. I was the one in charge, or I was the one doing this and this and this. That's from his side. And they always say when you have two sides of the story, the truth is in the middle. So, yes, they probably helped him get to where he was. But we've seen Nick Fury in action when he was Nick Fury, when he was the guy in charge. We've seen him and the way that he strategized. And unless they go and they point blank show that things we have seen on screen were the Skrulls making it happen, I don't think they've done that to him yet. I think that we know that he can do it, but we'll see. If they do turn it around to make it where that is the whole thing and they basically erase what Nick Fury is as a character, that's why I don't buy that they'll do it. They got a couple more movies. They need him to be Nick Fury. So if they totally erase who Nick Fury is in this, which I'm not saying that Disney or Marvel doesn't have the capacity to do so, they absolutely do, but I don't think they will. And I'm not sure. I don't know if Samuel L. Jackson would let him do that. If he would have come back or done any of this, if he thought that they were just going to totally erase his character. I think he takes these parts because he likes playing that character and he likes having some real stakes in it. But I think they got to be really careful about the Super-Skrulls and how they get that done. They got to be really careful about that because, I mean, if they just give them every damn power that all the Avengers have, which is almost what it sounds like they're going to try to do, I don't know. Then I guess you got
to get the Avengers showing up in this series.
I don't know. I don't think you get that.
What Avengers?
But,
Like, who's left?
Yeah.
but somewhere that's that the secret war and all that. I think that's what it's going to lead to, and it is an Avengers movie. So, do they pull the rug out from underneath us and make us think the Avengers are in it, and then it's not them? I don't know. You just got to be really careful with that. So, I mean, I like the idea. Just it's a wait and see on this in this whole thing. That's the thing.
And I say I agree with you too, right? Because remember, the Skrulls been on Earth since that Captain Marvel movie. So now it's like we don't know who's a Skrull. Are they gonna go back and say, oh? Because from what I hear, Rhodey's a Skrull, and he's been a Skrull since after what Endgame, I think it was, or something like that. So it's like Rhodey's a Skrull. Then they're just gonna say, hey, this guy was a Skrull in Age of Ultron, or Iron Man was a Skrull now, or some stuff like that. So they have to be careful about that stuff for real. I agree with you 100%. Low key.
Honestly, I ain't have no dislikes like that. Nothing bother me in this episode.
All right, JG.
You know what? I didn't even think about that until you said something about it. It's almost like one of those, yo, Nick, we helped you out all this time. You've been moving up. You've been winning. We haven't even got our own yet. So it's almost like, the cat scratching out his eye in Captain Marvel, right? Where you're expecting something big as to why he has an eye patch, and it's, a cat scratched my eye. That's how I got an eye patch.
Right. Shield perk.
But a dislike for me was, killing off my Khaleesi. I do not like it. I do not appreciate it. I'm sick of her dying in these type of shows. She needs to live, and I hope she's alive. My other dislike was it was just too short. I wanted more. Like the way it is, like, no, don't end. I want more. I need to see what's going to happen. So that kind of gave me a middle finger with that ending.
But you know what? I think that's what's great with this series is that we want more. You know what I mean? It's like, let me see what's happening. Because I know there's a series that I liked, but I never was in the like, oh my God, I can't wait to see the next episode. It's going to be fire. Even Falcon and the Winter Soldier, even though I liked it, I was never like as hyped up as I wanted to see the next episode as I do with this series. So I think they're doing a good job with that. Danny, did you have any dislikes?
Not really. Not that I can think of. I should put on. I definitely like the length. I hope they go to this 57, 56 minute format from now on. If they're going to tell a good story or a decent story, I would be very mad if this was only like 30 minutes long.
I agree. Are all the episodes around the same?
The last year been about 56 minutes.
Okay, so that's good. At least they're sticking with that because I remember some of those series were like 30 minutes, 32 minutes, 40 minutes, and it's like, what are you guys doing here with this? So
okay, Lucasfilm, y'all see that? You seen that?
Yeah, for real, because that's what they did with Star Wars, right?
Ahsoka should be an hour-long episode.
I agree, 100%. Warren, any dislikes?
Well, since I wasn't here last week, but this week, Talos is more important than we let on, and that's what's kind of been bothering me. The fact that in the room, the guy's like, if you stood with Gravik, we'd all be with you even more, which means to me that he's more high ranking than we're led to know. And then also you brought it up. Someone brought up that how the first time I think you saw it brought on the first time he went after Gravik when they were having lunch, they all jumped up. But when he disrespect them like kind of like a command, it's like, oh, no, you don't disrespect the general. You could say your piece, but now you're not disrespecting me like at that. So that's what's something bothering me. And then also it kind of when he said about they knew everything, then if they knew everything, right? And I thought about this now, maybe I'm going too much. Then they should have known about Hydra, right? Because Hydra was deep within everything, and Hydra brought down S.H.I.E.L.D. So if the Skrulls are supposed to have all this intel, then where were them when they literally brought down Hydra? Like,
good point.
I mean, they can't be that key. They can't be that good because Hydra took down the best organization in the world, led by Nick Fury, and that's why they had to go into hiding, right? So that to me showed that Nick Fury actually had more to do after he came back out of hiding, right? So Talos has a point, but not a point. So that those were the two things, that there's more to Talos. Oh, and that he's not telling the whole truth about the Skrulls, because they are our conquerors from what I'm gathering. That they went to planets and were conquering, and the Kree were like, no, you're not fighting us because we're gonna beat you, and they did. So now they're like, okay, now we're peaceful people. Like, there's more to Talos than we're being led on, and I wish they would go into his history. That's my only gripe.
I think we're seeing that though a little at a time. I think we're starting to see bits and pieces of that. I am sure in the next 2 episodes we'll get some more flashbacks. I don't mind how they're doing the flashbacks also in this series.
Neither do I.
I think they're doing it really smart, because they're not playing like a flashback. They're just showing it to you. Like, here you go.
Way better than what they did in Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah. Watch
They
your
all
mouth.
being like a big deal towards the end of the series.
Watch your mouth.
They should call this Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. 2. That's what they should call the series.
Hey, watch it. Watch it, Warren, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was good. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was pretty fire. After the, first half of the first season, it got really good, and there were some really good seasons, so watch it. Tank, what did you dislike in this episode? If any.
There's one thing. Like on our discussion with me and Brian, we were just trying to figure out Nick Fury. You know what I mean? Like right now, like Anzo, you said, like is he not who we thought he was, and he's not this badass? And I think it's more on that Rusty part of it, but but that's what I don't like, is that he's coming off too much unlike himself. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think it's all gonna pay off in the end, and he's gonna know all this stuff already, you know, and it's gonna kind of prove that conversation, like, oh yeah, remember when you were the guy that helped me out so much? Like, hey, you know, you're just you know, a gear in the entire machine, you know what I mean? And I'm pressing the buttons, you know. But they're making them too unlike Nick Fury, which I don't like, you know. But I see that turning. That's gonna turn probably in the next episode, where he's gonna shave the beard, put the eye patch back on, and become Nick Fury again. I think sooner than later. But that's the main part, is I don't like about that. But I do think because that whole argument in the car with Talos, he just sat there and was like, all right, let you say your piece, you know. But I think he knows. He's like, I'm gonna let you say it and get it all out, you know. Like who said, like, he's emotional. I was like, that's exactly what it is, you know. It's like, you know, it's like, hey, where's my payment? You said you promised, but you didn't promise. So now, you know, he has to kind of play a little bit into it. But I would kind of give it Rusty, and not just, he's not incompetent, but he's a little too rusty for me. So hopefully he knocks off that rust and becomes that spy guy again.
I feel you 100%. And I think towards the end they can fix it, you know what I mean, to make it where he does something and it's like, okay, that's Nick Fury, you know what I mean? And like you guys said, maybe Talos was just there helping him, but he was the man actually putting everything together.
He was in outer space walking barefoot, so he was
Yeah. And it's like he's so good. Real quick, he's so good as a spy. He don't even trust his own wife. Like, that's like crazy. It's like, you know what? I don't even trust you. You know, so it's like, he doesn't trust anybody.
Right, because you know he looked at that phone. You know what I mean? He definitely looked at that phone. Even though they didn't show it, he definitely picked up that phone.
So, is Nick Fury Belichick, or is he Brady?
At this point, I would say he's the offensive coordinator.
What? Oh, don't do that.
You know what I mean? Hopefully, we get to see him be Belichick, but right now,
because
he ain't
when
even
Brady left Belichick
gonna be Brady in the playoffs.
Too good, but then Brady still has success.
Yeah.
So it's Talos. Is Talos Belichick and he Brady, or is it vice versa?
No, I think Nick Fury, if he gets back to normal, he beat Robert Kraft, because Robert Kraft put everything in place.
Good point.
Robert Kraft
he was in the space station getting massages,
dating people.
What's that, Donnie?
Robert Kraft wasn't doing nothing but going to the hotel and dating people.
Facts.
I think
You caught me? Oh,
Yeah, because
sorry.
Belichick really did put that team together, right? But I'll say this because Belichick, like, he didn't really have nothing to work with, so it's hard to compare his success. Brady went straight to a team that just needed a quarterback. They had great running backs, great wide receivers, that had a good defense. So it's kind of hard to compare which one so far. But like I said, at this point, Nick Fury for me is neither one of them. But hopefully he can become one of them. For mine, yeah,
I
go
mean, he
ahead.
went from the
I agree with
Skrulls to
that.
the Avengers. It's kind of like that.
I'm trying to think if Nick Fury gonna do like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So is he gonna go back and get the Kree to help
Oh,
That's a good
nah.
point.
bad Skrulls?
That'd be interesting. But I think
Because-
wouldn't that just
Because
go?
how can he can't deal with a million Skrulls, and now
Yeah.
now they're talking about getting superpowers. So he's gonna have
Be
to get
another
something else.
twist.
And he said, "I'm not calling the Avengers." So I don't know who else he's gonna
Oh.
call in.
And I can answer the question about the Super-Skrull thing, Chris. In the Secret Invasion series, you did see Super-Skrulls show up, like a version, but after a while, they just started, like, for instance, there was one Skrull that had the powers of Wolverine and Cyclops and Rogue, so they could easily just they established that in that series, so I won't have a problem if I saw somebody have like Ant-Man's powers with you know.
Well, I think they're only gonna give him one power because if you saw on that list, I know I saw Extremis, I saw Groot, and I can't think of the third person.
Oh, Cull Obsidian was the remember the arm that got cut off by when he went through the portal in Infinity War.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the muscle guy that was.
So that's probably they're gonna give each Skrull gonna get one of those powers that they come across.
Oh, and the Frost Giants from Asgard,
Mm.
they're quite powerful too. So
They were on that list.
yeah, the Frost Giants, yes.
I didn't
And Groot.
remember. Yeah, I saw Groot.
Okay. First off, Perp, you are out of your mind. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not ass. So go back and watch it. He said when he said
you talking about the humans. That was
trash.
Oh, that was trash.
the humans was trash.
that's what I'm saying. That's what he's talking about. He's confusing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with their humans.
He's gotta be, man, because I'm sorry, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has some really good seasons. They had some really good villains as well. So I don't know what he's talking about.
I watched the first 2 episodes of Inhumans. I said I can't take no more, so I just went to the last one.
Same here.
That mess ended.
Yeah,
and so I
not
was
bad.
like, okay.
You're better than me, Danny, because I don't even know how it ended. I watched that first episode and I was like, "Oh, hell to the no!" And
Now, I'm saying, as far as how they look, comic book, they were accurate, but that was about it.
Yeah, and they
That was
did
it.
keep Black Bolt the same guy,
Yeah.
right? The guy from. So they did keep that, so that's good. But that show was just ass. All right, guys.
Black Bolt's the guy that plays Captain Pike.
Picard. Yeah, Pike.
Yeah.
In Strange New World, which is good.
Which
That
is
last
fire.
episode was good. Yeah, I really like Strange New World
Yes.
as well.
That show was awesome.
All right, Tank. So, what are your predictions and your grades for this episode?
Ooh. I think this episode I'll give like a maybe B plus, maybe A minus. You know, it's so hard for me to grade them because I always feel like the grade for this episode is going to depend on the next episode because like this episode needs to build up to the next episode. So if the next episode is a banger, then that means the previous episode did its job well. But I think it, you know, that's why number 2 was so good because number 3 hit it out of the park. So 2 looked even better. But either way, I would say B plus, A minus, right around there. But predictions, was it what's her name? Gia?
Yeah.
Gia? She ain't dead. I think she stole some of those powers. You know, like right before she took off, she's like, "Hey, let me get this healing factor really quick, and you know, let me get one of those." And then she like left. So I don't think she's dead.
Is it a bottle, or are they gonna get into that machine?
I think it's the machine, right?
Because how would she know how to use that machine?
Because they use she's using rays, so it's a machine.
Yeah.
I don't know how she would get into that and cut it on by herself. I don't know, but you might be right.
Yeah, I don't know. They really didn't say how it works though. They just like
maybe
you go inside that sucker and they cut the lights on and it does whatever it's gonna do.
Yeah.
Maybe someone helped her, right? Because I remember when the guy was talking to the doctor, he was kind of like, you know, saying Gravik doesn't really know what he's doing as well. So there may be some dissensions in the Skrulls as well, to where it's like, you know. But and I forgot to say this like last week or the week before, but I always knew that Tarek's daughter was actually working with him. I just knew it. For some reason, I didn't actually believe she was with the Skrulls. Even when it was that little setup with the bags, I was like, nah, something, I still think
Well,
she's
how didn't
there.
she know her mom died though? 'Cause he told her that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, probably because she was, deep undercover by then, right? She had left, she went undercover. Plus, the father was part of the council. So when he got kicked off, he probably left her there and be like, you know what, keep an eye on what's going on for me and stuff like that. So for some reason, I always had a feeling that she was a part of the spy. So we'll see what happens with that. What about you, Warren? Go ahead.
All right, so I got some banger takes right now. I think the firing of Nick Fury was a ploy by Rhodey, and he's not a Skrull, and he's just doing that to make him look bad, and he's gonna come out for that. The guy is not dead. The guy is not dead at all. And I think remember when Fury says, "When I'm in, I'm out," and I was like, I thought about that. He said that like looking right at Rhodey's eyes, so I'm assuming that they're working together. So that's to me. Rhodey's gonna come back again. I don't think he's a Skrull. That's my prediction for the next episode. Also, we're definitely gonna see some of the Super-Skrulls in action. Like it might not be one or two. And then other than that, I think Talos might go over the Gravik side.
I was thinking that too. Yeah.
So that's it for me.
Which, if that happens, and then Nick Fury does his Nick Fury stuff, I'd be like, okay, perfect, that's fine. But I had that kind of same thing too, that he might go over there too, or he might kill Gravik and then try and take the super serum, become powerful enough. We'll see, because if his daughter is actually dead, then that may throw him over the edge, right?
She got to be dead in order for him to go to Gravik's side, because because Nick Fury asked him point blank, "Why didn't you?" And he said, "Because I'm with you." I think he's loyal to Nick Fury.
Yeah, but
it's going to take something catastrophic for him to change his ideology, and I think seeing my daughter killed, then I might would do what Alonzo said, piss me off. I'm going to kill you, then I'm going to take what you had, and then do what I'm going to do.
Absolutely.
But then, just to answer that, remember, how can he be on his side? And this is from the show, and it's no disrespect, of course. When he didn't tell him that 1 million Skrulls are on the planet until now. That's not like, if you're so good friends, you're telling me everything. You're not telling me half truths.
You young. Friends tell each other half truths all the time.
Exactly.
All the time.
I don't know about you, but if I had an alien race that's basically now in the mist and I have no control,
it don't matter.
You gotta remember.
I'm gonna look at you sideways. I'm gonna look at you sideways.
There's sometimes when there's something you think that if I tell Anzo this, there ain't no coming back from it, or he's gonna be so pissed that I can't do it. Now that ain't never happened yet, but I have friends that done to me like, oh man, why you tell me? Because why do you? That's like, for instance, if you see your friend cheating with another whatever, some people will be like, I'm gonna blow up, and guess what? I saw such. Some will be like, no, because they know in the back of their mind, I'm telling them that, but he gonna take her side and gonna mess up our friendship.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's this
after
thing
what she says
that you're not gonna tell your friend because you're gonna do a little fast forward, and that's gonna mess it up. That happens all the time. So I don't necessarily agree with that particular point.
Also, I think Talos can actually blame Nick Fury. Like, I didn't tell you because you were never here.
I was
were you okay?
Yeah, because there was a scene where he says, "I was trying to reach you and you were gone," right? So it could have been to tell him that. But also, you got to understand, this is his race of people, and there's only like 1 million left that we know of, right?
Enzo, he lied that these people weren't running away. They were conquerors. They literally, like, I think it was a scene that said, "Oh, if this was a battle, you wouldn't be this way," which means these people were war conquering people. These weren't no peaceful kumbaya, let's rub your tummy type of people. Let's be real.
All right, let's go with what you just said just now. You don't think Nick Fury holds some information from them?
Oh, then why hasn't he come out with it yet?
True.
Because he's Nick Fury. He's a spy. He's the king of spies.
Agents, right? Who said that? Agents of Ass. This is Agents of Ass Part 2.
I guarantee you that Nick Fury has wholesome stuff because the Avengers always call him out about it. Why didn't you tell us? That's what he do.
For sure, 100%. Yeah. He ain't telling everything.
Like he knew that old boy killed. Perfect example. Captain America knew that old boy killed Tony's wife. I mean, parents. Why didn't he tell him? Because he knew that what it would do. It messed their friendship up for a minute.
And then Tony said, "I thought we were friends" or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he chose one friend over the other. So that made Captain America and Iron Man all messed up, Warren.
Yeah, man, Bucky been missing for I don't know how long.
Captain Iron Man were friends now, but he chose not to tell him that because he knew what would happen.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you 100%. I agree. All right, Warren, continue.
No, I'm done.
That's it. What was your grade?
That beat down.
It's a B. I give this a solid B. I can't go any higher than that. Just a B.
You said D or B?
B.
Oh. B's a good grade.
That's a good grade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good grade. JG
coming from a DC lover. That's
facts, hater.
From a fellow DC lover, I would give this a B plus. I really enjoyed it. I wish it was a little longer, but no, it is what it is. It's only got 6 episodes. You only do so much. My predictions: I predict that we'll see what Nick Fury's wife and Gravik have been doing this whole time since he's been gone. Because remember, she's the one that brought Gravik to Nick Fury, so they have this certain bond with each other. So I'm curious as to what the relationship has been like in this entirety. I'm hoping my Khaleesi is not dead. I really do. If she is, it is what it is. But I'm gonna throw something out there. I think Talos is gonna go rogue. I think once he finds out that his daughter's dead, if she is dead, he's gonna go rogue and do his own thing.
Yeah, I could see that happening as well.
And a hot take. I haven't read the series, anything like that. And they're trying to figure out how they're going to bring mutants into the whole MCU thing. I wonder if they're going to use any of this as to why the mutant gene gets out to the public.
That would be interesting.
I mean, like, well, if some of these Skrulls, because there's so many of them, what if one of these Skrulls started having, kids with humans, and now you got half human, half Skrull, and you get all these mutant genes and stuff like that? That'd be interesting. I didn't think about that.
But we already know that the mutant gene is there already, right? Because of
Eternals.
Yeah. Not Eternals.
Yes.
Well, it was supposed to be
Miss Marvel. Yeah, but I'm saying Miss Marvel actually confirmed that she's a mutant, right? She was
Namor too.
One.
Yes.
Yeah, Namor's a mutant too, right? So
Well, we kind of wonder where in the timeline is all this stuff going on. Too,
but the Eternals confirmed it because Cersei became changed in that movie. She's a mutant.
Yeah. What was your grade, JG?
I'll give it a B plus.
B plus. All right. Low key.
I'm gonna give it an A minus. I like all the conversations in this episode. I like the twist as far as Nick Fury's wife and the whole thing with Gaia being killed supposedly. As far as predictions, I think Talos might try to work with Gravik only to get into the whole thing with turning into a Super-Skrull to fight him. To turn into a Super-Skrull, and I think Nick Fury's wife could possibly be killed.
Ooh,
yeah, I can see that. Bring Nick Fury back to where he's supposed to be.
That would be one that would not surprise me.
And it would bring Nick Fury back to being Nick Fury 2 as well, so that could be a possibility. Let me ask you guys a question though, before I get to Danny and Chris. Do you guys think Maria Hill's really dead still?
No.
Oh, they did a Coulson. They did a Coulson. They're like, I'm telling you, what I mean is, they did something where it's like, okay, wake the hell up, Nick. That's why they did that. And
unless he come back as a Skrull.
Because
I don't know, man.
The thing is, she's an agent. Like, let's look at it from let's not put no Skrulls in this. Why are you gonna be out in the open to get easy fire? Like, just use our brain. So like so she brought Gravik out to see who it was, right? Like come on, like that doesn't make any sense, man. Like I thought about that. Like, she's been in the game so long. You know what? I'm gonna stand out in the post. So I get shot by this dude. Come on, that don't make no sense.
Tank, you think she's still alive?
She thought he was Nick. She didn't know.
I want her to be alive. I want her to be alive because she's such a good character, you know. And I like Kobe Smulders, you know, the actress, and she really does well with this character. But I think it was a Variety or something like that. Like she came out and said like, yeah, she's dead, you know. But at least she said something like she gets to at least play Maria Hill in one of the cartoons or something like that that's out. But she pretty much made it seem like that's it for Maria Hill. But they lie. Andrew Garfield lied. I mean, you get a lot of people that say things and then, you know, it's different what actually happens. But I think she's dead though. I think she's gone, which I don't like at all. I hate that.
I hope I want her. I don't want this to turn into the Fast and Furious. Let's have some
exactly.
Stakes,
yeah,
that too.
I agree. So, do you think she's dead, Loki?
What'd you say?
Do you think she's dead?
Yeah, I do. I think she's dead.
Yeah,
JG. You said you want to be dead.
Oh, she's gone. She's out of here. Done. Deleted. She's gone. You remember her? The one thing her mother said to Nick Fury: "Hey, don't make my daughter regret losing her life." You know what I mean? So. You can't bring it back at this point. Just let her die. Let her just be gone.
Chris, she dead?
She should be. Is she? I don't know about that for sure. It would not surprise me if she isn't. That's all I'm going to say is that it would be in Nick Fury's wheelhouse to make her look or appear dead and have her working on a lot of stuff in the background. That is a Nick Fury move.
Thank you, Chris.
And so while I do believe she is dead, I will not be surprised if she's not.
Danny.
I'm not crazy.
I actually agree with what Chris said, and I hope that's what they do. They probably won't do this, but I would love to see maybe one or two of the Kree come back, or he have a conversation with them on maybe they tell him what some of their weaknesses are, that kind of stuff. You never can tell Nick Fury. You never can tell what cause he got hidden in his sleeve. But I definitely give this a B+. To me, it's not as good as the second episode, which I gave an A. So I'm gonna give it a B+. But I don't know what. I think his wife might get killed. When the Skrulls get killed, I think they're dead. With the exception of Talos' daughter, I don't know. She could have had an opportunity to get some of that Super-Skrull treatment. I don't know. It's possible, so I can't rule that out. I don't know. This show right now has me. I don't know. Just wait to see what they're gonna do next. But I hope Maria Hill is not dead. I would like for what Chris said makes sense to me, and I would love for that to happen. We do know for a fact that Tolson is not dead. I don't believe, because usually they house those people in that warehouse, because we saw the leaders in the warehouse when she was going through the guy's mind to get the. So that makes me think that Tolson is still alive, or Coulson, whatever his name is still alive.
Coulson.
So, and somebody said earlier about Rhodey not being a Skrull. I don't know. I think Rhodey a Skrull. I could be wrong.
I said it because I think, like you said, he's Nick Fury, and I as much as I don't want to agree, I will agree with you. So what I mean is that the way he looked at him, he's like, "Oh, you think you got rid of me, but I'm still in even when I'm out." You know, if you would play a move where it's like Rhodey looks like the bad guy, but he's not the bad guy. He's just working for Nick undercover.
That'd be cool.
What up, Mike? That sounded like a kind of what would Danny say? A slick mark? Yeah.
He thought he didn't catch that, but
yeah, it was
at
trying
this
to be
point,
slick.
I don't care.
Chris.
So first off, I don't think Talos' daughter's dead. In fact, the more I think about it, Gravik walked away before he even looked at her, and so it could have been somebody else mimicking who she looked like.
Yep, that's cool.
And like I said, he walks away before he even looks. It's like, okay, and again, those types of things. So that's the one reason why I think Maria might be dead because they did kind of focus in on it and said, "Here you go, she's dead." But again, we'll see about that. But
when he shot her, did she revert back to her Skrull form? I didn't even pay attention.
No, she didn't.
Oh no! Oh yeah. Oh, you're talking about her daughter? Yes.
Yeah, Gaia did.
Oh,
Yes.
Gaia? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gaia
she
did?
did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe she
Okay.
did.
Okay.
And but you don't see the face, and
You see the Skrull
all you
face.
see is the blood on the chest.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's definitely a question mark, but I don't think she is. Although if she does, it would make Talos go crazy and start being a badass, probably.
Yeah,
So
he told him,
they might do it.
ever say my daughter
Exactly.
name
And
again.
yeah.
Mhm.
Like, dang.
Yeah.
And now
So,
you shot his daughter? Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's why I said I think he's gonna go rogue.
But he's gonna have to get that Super-Skrull because he ain't no match for old
Yeah.
boy.
I agree.
Sure.
Current present state.
But everything going on, it's being done really well. It's good story writing, good scenes. I mean, they're really focusing on the dialogue in this one, and they're doing a smart thing. There's not a lot of group dialogue going on. It's like two people at a time, and that really helps it. And it's got a lot of exposition to it. So I'm going to give this an A- also this time. So yeah.
All right. I'm gonna give this one a B plus. Again, I like the episode. I just had that one little issue with it that I had, but I think by the end of the series we're gonna get clean shaven, eye patch Nick Fury back doing what he was doing. I don't know what's gonna happen between Gravik and Talos. I think that's gonna be a very interesting dynamic to see what they do there. I don't believe Gara is dead either. I think she's gonna survive. She'll probably wake up in the next episode and be like, okay, and we'll see that she had some sort of power. But yeah, I definitely like the series, and I am absolutely excited for the next episode. So we'll see what happens there. But with that being said, guys, thank you all for popping in. It was a great show. I'm going to let everybody go around the panel one last time to shout out their channels. I'll start with Tank, first time on the channel. Thank you for coming up. It was a pleasure to have you, man.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. I know I check out you guys like low key. I've been, always hanging out in his chat, with the Anzo and stuff like that. Comic chat. I just subscribed to your channel, and those like inspirational videos, dude. Those are great, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I'm only 1/3. I know you guys saw Brian, before, who's also giant nerd, so he loves talking about this stuff too. So me and him go on for hours, like not even recording. We're just like hanging out and talking about it. So we love talking about that stuff. So
wrong. Y'all talk about it for hours and you get it wrong.
We do, man. we have to like stop ourselves because we're like before the show. We're like, hold on, we gotta stop so we don't repeat ourselves, before the show starts. Yeah,
you did not hear what Danny said, though.
Wait, what is it? I heard he said go.
Repeat what you said, Danny.
Talk all them hours and still getting Star Trek wrong. I mean, Star Wars wrong. I don't know.
Oh, come on, no, man. Wait, I don't got my Star Wars stuff up there. I had a little R2D2 stuff. But nah, man, the Star Wars. But you throw me off with that. But yeah, man. So we talk about that.
One day I'm gonna come.
Oh, you know what? I want you if you're free when we Ahsoka happens, we'll get you on and talk about that because Ahsoka is technically prequels. So
I can't wait for that. I hope that's good, man. They better not ruin that shit.
Yeah. So
who's doing that one? Is that Danny?
I think I did the last one, didn't I?
Yeah, no, I was doing Ahsoka. This is the one someone else was supposed to do, but no one said it. But I said I'm doing Ahsoka, like Ahsoka. I'm doing that.
That's fine.
Okay,
you just took
I
it.
just checking.
Less work for me.
Yeah, but yeah. So like real quick, we're live every Monday and Thursday. Talk about movies, the TV shows. We're gonna start getting into the Witcher breakdowns.
What
now
time
that
is your show on Mondays, Tank?
it is 9 p.m. Central, which is 8 Eastern, I think.
8 Eastern.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's 10 Eastern.
10 Eastern.
Eastern's an hour ahead. Yep.
Okay.
Whereabouts are
that's
you?
right.
Central time.
Yeah.
So that'd be 7 o'clock. He's an hour ahead, not behind.
Yeah.
So you're an hour ahead. So if it's 9 o'clock, if he's 9 o'clock, it's at 10 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, for you guys, because you guys start at 8:30 Eastern, which is 7:30 my time. on this.
I
But
got you.
yeah. So, but yeah, like I said, we go on for like 3 hours at times. So we go stupid with it. But yeah, it's always fun with stuff like that. But yeah, come over, check us out. We're almost at 1,000. We're gonna do a big giveaway, multiple giveaways once we hit 1,000. So we're super excited about that. But yeah. And then thanks for for having me and Brian on last couple of weeks on. We appreciate it.
No
Tell
problem.
Brian that I need to give away that Riddler picture that he had in his background.
The one that he's got up there.
That would be tight on my wall.
Danny looking to get the Riddler poster. Right?
The Riddler picture was fire, boy.
Yeah.
All right, Warren. What about you? Where can they find you, sir?
You can just find me on Twitter. Again, speaking facts, not feelings.
Oh my god.
and providing evidence, so you don't have to worry about that either. And hopping in on shows here and there wherever I am appreciated, I guess. Oh, that's the wrong word. We're invited to. So yeah, that's where you can find me, Twitter.
Excellent.
It's amazing that he says that sometimes stuff is lazy writing, and then he said earlier that he was too lazy to make his own show.
Facts. Facts.
Is that just coincidence?
It's called the truth, and I at least admitting the truth.
Okay.
Too lazy to do his own show, but always complaining about lazy writing and TV shows.
Triple the content you got now, and triple the platform to express your crazy, wicked DCU views, Warren.
Facts. JG?
You can catch me Wednesday nights on the OOC with the great Onzo, the great Roberto, and the amazing, spectacular, iconic, always man of the hour, Daddy. You also find me with Super Wise talking our geek stuff that I love.
And Mr. Knight?
Yeah, Real Overview 3000, Chaos Central, all that good stuff. About ready to jump over on DJ's channel to do the games and stuff like that. We normally do that on Sunday nights on my channel, but it just depends.
All right.
Thank you. Looking forward to next week.
No problem. Thank you for coming up. Mr. Danny Graham, what about you, sir?
You missed low key, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, shoots, low key. My bad.
You good, bros. I thought you were going to have to be in anyway. But every Friday or Saturday, depending on what's going on in life, we be doing Uncut Ish Talk. We on season 2 right now, about 9:30 or 10 o'clock. And Sundays, we're going to be starting summer horror movie retro reviews. We're going to be starting with Friday the 13th, the very first one. I forgot, I think it was 1980, what was it, 85, 86?
Something like that. Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, horror night. All right, I'll come on. Oh, Friday the 13th, the first one? I'll skip that one. I ain't watching that again.
Yeah, you crazy. That's one of the highlights, man. That's before Jason.
Yeah,
my bad for anybody
I'll tell you a movie now. I'm 52 years old, and I'll never watch Sailor's Lot, the original one. Nightmares about that show.
All right, Loki. Finish? Or...
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Oh, wait,
shout out to everybody on the panel. Make sure y'all check them out.
Absolutely. And just so you guys know, he also does this versus where he loses like every week. So you might want to check that out too.
I'm not doing that no more. I can't.
Oh, you can't do it no more?
Well, I can, but as far as music wise, I can't play the music no more.
You're getting copyrights for it, eh?
Yeah. So that's done. That's over.
Yeah.
We went through that before too, boy.
Yeah, we did. And Danny.
I am Danny A.K. Kamachat. You can find me Monday nights, tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here with these guys to my left and right. We'll be doing our show on Chaos Central, which is Chaotic Conversation. I think it's going to be a trivia, unless my mind changes tomorrow. I'm not sure, but it's going to be something interesting, I hope. And Mondays through Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I release something called my encouragement series, where I give you a word of the day, quote of the day, and Bible series of Bible verse of the day, and I just speak a little bit on that word. Tomorrow's word will be problem solver. So check it out if you don't have nothing to do, and check me out here in about another 10 minutes on Storm's Live, where I'll be with Robert Storm and a few other guys. And I'm on also show sometime the OOC on Wednesday nights, and on the Hangout with Guy Scar's show and a few other fellas. So I'm trying to be out and about, but thanks for inviting, man. I definitely appreciate you guys on here, man. It's been a good time, man. Good clean time.
Always a pleasure. 100%. I am Bigger Ford Entertainment. You know where to find me. Tomorrow night will be on Danny's show. Wednesday night will be the OOC. Yeah, it's summertime, so the tournaments on Fridays are kind of iffy, to be honest with you guys. You know what I mean? I would like to say, yeah, we're going to do one on
you on that,
Friday,
bro.
but you know what I mean? Wintertime, we'll be back full force.
Yeah.
But during the summertime, I don't know.
I don't blame you on that, man. You know, it was 100 degrees today. Too hot to go out, but it's when it get cool in the afternoons, man, you ain't trying to be on no computer cooped up. I don't blame you one bit, buddy.
Facts, 100%. But we will be back next week with episode 4, so make sure to tune into that one. And I appreciate every single one of you that came into the chat. Mike, Basil, Dewan, who else? Perp was in the house. Jason Lee was in the house. You know, thank you guys for popping in. Always a pleasure. Make sure to check out everybody on the channel because their descriptions are in the description box over there. Make sure you get these guys to 1,000 subs and check out the next episode. Peace.
I am inevitable.